The last 10 years has seen a huge change in the kind of equipment that we're using for video production. I think a couple big reasons for the change have to do with, the iPhone came out in 2007. YouTube was launched in 2007, so literally the last 10 years, the way that we are shooting video and the way that we're consuming video has a big effect on what we're able to do with that. Because everything is getting smaller, it's also becoming easier to move around and get some really interesting dynamic shots. So you don't have to have this large equipment that you're lugging all over that's too heavy or too big to get into small spaces. You have these little action cameras like GoPros or things like the Osmo, or even small drones that you're able to fly around and get those cool aerial shots, whereas before you would have had to hire a helicopter, and have this like giant piece of machinery and this big expense of getting that and flying that around. The possibilities that it opens up in terms of the kinds of shots that you can get in really more creative ways that you can get those. It doesn't have to be a lockdown shot on a tripod. You can have this dynamic motion to the video that you're getting. It's changing the way that people produce video and inventing new ways for people to get those kinds of shots. People are doing things that we've never seen before with video. It's important to us as an educational institution not only to keep up with the times, but to try to be pushing that envelope in terms of moving forward with the future.
On August 21st, 2017, at 12:58 p.m., Kearney, Nebraska will be shadowed in darkness due to a rare occurrence called a solar eclipse. A solar eclipse happens when the moon moves between the sun and the earth, casting a shadow. This event is unique because a total solar eclipse covers such a small area on Earth. This upcoming eclipse will cover across the United States for the first time since 1918. This event will draw students and science lovers from around the country, due in part because of the festivities put on by the University of Nebraska at Kearney.
Hosting the solar eclipse event at UNK, it started out as kind of a smaller idea that grew really fast as excitement generates around this idea, and it really is worldwide excitement.
Over 2,000 middle school and high school students from approximately 45 schools across the state are expected to attend the event at UNK. According to Means, radio stations such as RNG Media are expected to be in attendance. Other notable features include a solar-themed lunch and games put on by local business Teen Concepts.
It's going to feel like a festival when you arrive. There's going to be food, there's going to be music, there's going to be games going on the field.
It is important to remember to wear eye protection while viewing the eclipse. Fortunately, UNK is handing out special sunglasses to protect your eyes. Remember to stay safe. I'm Brandon Warnke from Group 5, signing off.
So the Learning Commons is just kind of a place upstairs in the library on campus for students to engage in resources to help with tutoring. We have success coaches, which is what I do, which is study skills. We have a writing center, so you can email in a paper if you have questions about your paper. We have language tables, so students who are foreign exchange students can kind of help with their English, as well as students who are learning other foreign languages can kind of engage with students who that is their first language. Oh, we offer study groups for different classes on campus, as well as if you want to start your own study group, we have resources up there for students to do that too. We've been established in the Learning Commons 5 years now. The resources have kind of been added and subtracted, either moved to other departments, or Success Coaches is only a year old. Professors pull our list of students. They see who's getting the extra help. Well, I would say pretty much, all students, just anyone who needs extra help with little things. We have a lot of health science majors come in because that's where our tutoring is mostly based at, is in biology and chemistry. I see that little light bulb moment. I work with a lot of football players, and that moment of realization of just oh, this is how you do it. I totally get it now. And working through that, I think, is definitely a big benefit. You see students become more confident because they don't feel like they're failing everything all the time, which is really incredible to see, and I love working with students like that.
In the Ryan Calvin T. Library on the campus of UNK, they are remodeling their floors, upstairs and downstairs of their library. We talked to Janet Wilkie, the Dean of the library, for more information. The Calvin T. Ryan Library is getting a touch-up from the old carpet, from an old faded orange to a more modern striped carpet. They chose this carpet because It would be easier to clean, and so it would go with any wallpaper. We asked why they chose to do it over the summer.
For the history of the library is that the west half of the building was built in the early 1960s, and the second half, or the east half, was built in the early 1980s. So the old carpet, the orange carpet that you see remnants of now, that was actually put down in 1982-83. So it is quite elderly carpet. And it's worn very, very well, which is probably one of the reasons why it hasn't been changed before now. You can imagine the disruption it would be if the place were full of students trying to study and the book stacks are getting moved and so forth. So summer's a time for a lot of those kinds of projects on campus.
This is one of many projects going on across the UNK campus. It is hard to say how long it will take to complete the two floors, but it will be ready to roll out by next semester. This has been Digital Expressions Camp. I'm Zach Orkin.
With the summer sun beating down on Kearney and temperatures reaching the 90s, any reprieve is welcome. Enter the children of the Otto Olson Child Care Center.
I'm Samira. I'm Sam. I'm Brooklyn. I'm Jessamine. I'm Madeline. I'm Brooklyn. I'm Ben. and we are the Lemonade Crew.
The Lemonade Crew had a higher goal than just refreshing parched patrons.
Well, we're trying to the animal shelter. So we're selling lemonade for the animal shelter. 50 cents. Parrots, and birds.
Everyone was excited to be working to save the animal shelter.
It's for a good cause, and it's for the animal shelter, and it's really good lemonade. Yeah, it's good lemonade, and it's for a good cause for the animal shelter.
They even have plans for a cookie stand and a vegetable sale later on.
So we're gonna do some other things, but
they're gonna be in different locations.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Though they had only been on site for 20 minutes when we interviewed them, the stand had already seen a crowd of customers.
We've been a success so far. Made over $35.
For Digital Expressions Media Camp, this is Ryan Range.
Evan Jones has a busy week ahead of him. Jones is a junior at the University of Nebraska Kearney and is a sports communications major. He's being a camp counselor at the Digital Media Expressions Camp, taking 2 summer college courses as well as getting married at the end of the week on June 17th.
Yeah, I had asked Ford previously what dates they were thinking, and he said, oh, probably the 11th through the 16th, and I was like, oh, my wedding day is the 17th of June. But it wasn't a big issue, and I thought I'd be able to work it out. Yeah, I proposed to Kinsey at Cotton Mill Park, just west of Kearney, the week before we got married. I made it look like it wasn't a big deal. We went for some walks there for a while, so it didn't seem like it was a big deal. And then one time we just decided to go for a walk, and I knew that day I wanted to ask her to marry me. And we went down to the amphitheater, and I got down on one knee and asked her, and had one of her friends who's a bridesmaid as well come and take pictures, so pretty awesome to be part of that as well.
Jones is getting through this busy week by taking it one day at a time and focusing on the now rather than the later.
I'm Evan Jones, and you're listening to 91.1 KLPR.